Nick, Jennifer, welcome to the Startup Van.
Thanks for having us.
You guys haven't been in the actual van before, have you?
Nick,
you have.
Nick
Nick.
has.
Yeah.
Chicago,
Keep thinking it was the pop-up studio, but it was actually in Chicago. You're right.
It was in Chicago, yeah.
We're feeling pretty nervous now because we're the future stars of the Nick and Jen show.
Oh boy,
What's with the future?
Oh, the courage!
How has that been going?
It's been fun.
Show we haven't actually
No,
But like me working together, doing the presenting together.
It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. We're at the point now. I think we can almost finish each other's sentences. We know when we're getting a little bit sleep deprived.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, today Nick
pain.
said something. He's like, "This is what I'm going to do." I'm like, "I'm not going to argue with you right now because I know that look." And you keep going. That's good. And so we know that.
I tell you what, the two of you got really good chemistry, on stage, and people love it, and it's fun, and then you make it fun, which is cool. People that are here that are going for investment, or they're going to talk in front of investors, they're going to go to a pitching competition, and they might have two founders like Mark and I. What advice would you give them? Because you can't just roll out of bed and do what you do, and you make it look easy. But can you talk a bit about preparing and what you have to go through?
Okay.
Touchy subject.
Yeah. No, it's not that. It's just that it's been interesting this week because we've been working with. We're trying to involve more colleagues in what we've been doing, and I think when you've been doing this kind of thing for a long time, you forget that just how much rehearsal you have to do. And those scripts, I mean, we've done, we started in Chicago, and really this is a continuation of that. I did Paris, we've done Johannesburg, London, thank you. And even the other cities that we haven't done, we've been there with the team, we've helped the teams get ready. So it's like you rehearse it and then you do it again, and you do it again, and you do it again, and you cannot over rehearse something, I think. And
you can't.
I don't think people realize what's in your head and what you need to say and convey. The people at the side got no idea what you're going to say. So you can't wing it. It's basically my summary.
No, you can't.
I think the other thing that I would add is that you need to know who's in the audience, and not just know, you need to know them. Like not personally, every single person by name, but you need to know all about them, because the minute that the audience feels like you're talking to, that's not me. That's what they just said, that's not me, they just tune out. And so for Nick and I, it's really easy because we spend a lot of time with our customers and a lot of time in the market. And so we know exactly what their pain points are. We know exactly what they're going through in business. So it makes it really easy to relate to them because we're always spending time with them. But I think getting up in front of a crowd or an investor and not understanding who you're talking to would be really challenging because you just don't have that same rapport, and you lose credibility really quick if you don't. If you're not authentically understanding their needs.
Do you guys get nervous at all?
No.
No?
Yeah, I think we used to. I mean, I used to get nervous more so than now, and now I think it's just because of repetition. I mean, anything becomes easier the more you do it. So
the other thing I'd say is I would be nervous if we hadn't run through the live demo 10 times.
Of course.
And I think it's an interesting one because kind of building on your first question as well. So if you know what you're going to say and you know what the outcome needs to be and you know the audience and so even if you trip up a bit, as long as you've got a really clear purpose, and our purpose today was, reassure our customers that if you're an existing customer, we've got you covered. We've got great new technology, and Sage is investing and delivering products. We are a product company. That's the message. We want them to leave thinking, wow, this is great. Okay, so therefore, whereas if you're not quite sure what you're trying to say and what the outcome needs to be, and you don't quite know who it is, then that makes you nervous. But I think you get a tiny bit of, I just get this thing about, I want to do the best job for Sage and for our customers. And so I don't want to let anybody down. But, you can't see beyond the first few rows anyway. And we'd love to do bigger crowds. I'd love to do like a massive thing,
What's the biggest crowd you've done?
Probably Chicago is about 20,000 with people online.
A lot of people, isn't it? A lot of eyeballs.
Yeah,
it is a lot of eyeballs.
Definitely. And so, the takeaway from that is basically, if there's a startup here, that's what a lot of people that are watching this struggle with, because they might be quite techie. They might be locked in a room and working away, and all of a sudden they have to pitch to investors or pitch in front of an audience or speak at an event, and it's not what they do. But they know what we say. People ask our advice in this as well, and we say, as long as you know your product, no one knows your product better than you do. So they can't trip you up. Exactly.
I think one of the things that I think is interesting is there's a book called Lynchpin by Seth Godin, and I love that book. And I think what's really interesting is you know, he just gives you these ways. How can you be really different? How can you be innovative? And one of the things he talks about is, you know, there's a part of your brain who loves the status quo. So if you never speak in front of crowds, there's a part of your brain that says, don't. Like, just, you know, you don't go to investors and look for funding. So it's like, kind of keeps you in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And he said there's actually a way to rewire your brain so you can get out of your comfort zone, and it's through repetition. So things he talks about are, you know, when you feel like it's out of your comfort zone, do it anyways. Don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
Because lots of times people say, oh, I'm going to do that, but if it doesn't work, I'll go to plan B. And then they're like, oh, it's not working, I'm on to plan B. You know, they revert back. So I think it's just, you can retrain your brain, and the more that you do that, the more comfortable you become. But you're not going to walk out on stage in front of 5,000 people the first time and be comfortable and be like, well, that was easy. I mean, it's just, that's not going to happen. But the more you do it, and the more that you exercise that part of your brain, it actually rewires it.
It's interesting that you actually say that about plan B. I think it's Gary Vee that's always harping on about, if you have a plan B, you have already set up for plan A to fail.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I think the other one is data. So you know, broadly, there's there's the spectrum of people. There's creative people who kind of sell a vision and sell what I call sell the miracle, right? And then there's the data guys who typically, you know, the very left brain, who might not be as charismatic. And actually, you kind of need both. So the charismatic creative guy might come along, and then the investor will say...
Are you saying that each of us is one of those kinds?
No, I'm not saying that.
And I want to know which one I am.
I'm
a little bit.
I'm going to come back to that, actually, Jennifer. I'm going to pay you a massive compliment in a minute. But you know, you see this on things like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den, where the guy will go, well, what about, you know, this? I happen to know that this product's got this amount of market share and growth and profitability, and the guy's suddenly stumped because he doesn't have the data. You go to anyone, and we do this all the time at work. You know, you go to Stephen Kelly or any of the senior management, and it's like, right, okay, I've got a short piece of data that's going to show you, here's the total size of the market, the penetration, whatever it might be. You have to have that. Doesn't matter how convincing you are as a kind of charismatic presenter. You need knowledge is everything. So back to your point, I think that's the holy grail, right? Where you can be, you know, where you can be a really charismatic presenter, really convincing, and then say 47% of users today told us in a survey that this, and so you back it up with data. So that, and the final thing I'd say is, and I do a lot of mentoring with people, and presentation is something that often comes up as something that people aren't comfortable with, is if you know that you're the left brain data side person, go and get somebody help from somebody who can do the charismatic side, and vice versa. Right.
Really good.
So are we going to just agree, like, let's just say that we're both? We exercise our entire brain.
Naturally, I've learned the data thing personally more, because I'm more like, I like stay up here, but
So just on, you mentioned existing customers in the crowd, okay? Sage have had customers for a long time, okay, and people stick with Sage. How are they reacting to this, to AI and all this new? That's interesting.
I love that tweet this morning from that lady. Do you remember?
The tweet from the lady?
No, it was Steve Hare.
There were so many tweets this morning.
Yeah, particularly for you. No, Jennifer's crushing it on Twitter much better than me. I'm now moved to Instagram. Just so you know.
Follow Nick's Instagram.
But
get in the plug.
I follow my story on Instagram. No, but Steve Hare, he calls us the dream team. That's really nice. Our CFO, nice. We love that. That was good. But there was a lady from the audience who retweeted it saying, loving the presentation from these guys, realizing that my company is like, I'm using dinosaur technology or something like that. And I think this is feedback we've had from different locations as well, where people are like, oh, digital transformation, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And it's like, well, are you using Uber? Are you using, are you using Facebook? Are you using any form of social media? You're already a digital native, or at least a digital immigrant, as we say.
Without realizing.
Without realizing it. And I think, when the sort of computerization of IT first happened, when IT first was born, I should say, they were like, you either use computers or you don't. It's like, oh, I can't do this. Everyone uses technology now, and I think that people quickly realize that that barrier is much lower than they thought. So they're like, yeah, I can use a mobile app. I can take a photo of a receipt and upload it into Sage 1. I can do, and suddenly they get there. So again, that's part of our service to our customers, which is to reassure them. I don't know what you think, Jennifer.
But it's making things easy.
And then product design, all of that. For sure.
So what way are you relaying that to the customers? That without freaking them out, but without saying,
I think the story of Peg is a great one, because they don't think about, if they can use voice and talk to an accounting solution or get their financial data, or you know, pull up a customer record and it's more of a conversation, they can relate to that.
Yeah.
And so then when you connect that back and you say, okay, that's using machine learning and AI, they're like, whoa, I didn't know, because they think they automatically, their brains go to like IBM Watson, something super expensive and complicated, and they can't figure out, is it for my business? And so I think it's like, how do we as Sage make AI and machine learning accessible to everyone? How do we take something that people think is traditionally for really large corporations and put it in the hands of small business owners, medium business owners? Because I think that's where they can really see some magic. They don't see it the same way. When they realize that something like PEG or using Alexa is part of machine learning and AI, the light bulb goes off, like, oh, I can do this.
You don't need to be Elon Musk to do it.
Yes, no.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, we know you guys are super busy.
Yeah, we appreciate your time, guys.
Thanks
and
so much.
Thanks so much for getting involved.
The only deal is you have to have us on the Nick and Jen show.
Oh yeah,
We'll switch it around.
That's a great idea. So yeah, we're you know, contracts and all that. Just get in touch. Instagram or Twitter, we don't mind.
There we go. Thanks so much,
guys. Thanks for getting in the van.
Thanks.